Ladies and gentlemen, being a fan of Big Brother, it has made us expect the unexpected, be as paranoid about the game as the players within the damn house. Ty and Jed have been gifted week after week after Toya's departure, which have felt like aberrations. They have been gifted week after week that have felt like miracles. So when I see Jed throw the HOH to Beth, I initially thought that was a fantastic move because I believe these brothers would do everything in their power to ensure Rohan would go. But then production make sure that the veto selections this week are completely skewed to screw over the black players. It feels as if, ladies and gentlemen, Victoria is being disciplined and punished by production for not using the invisible HOH to target these two black men. And in this rant, we're going to talk about it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the critically acclaimed, the Pop the Trunk podcast, now Patreon exclusively sponsored. New year, new me, new merch, new era, Hall of Fame, recency bias radio, where no one is safe from criticism. With me, of course, as your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trail, the Rant God, Hotep Thanos, Throne Thanos, Metro Kaiba, the Pro Black Prodigy, the Shadow Realm Shaman, all of the above on that ISET test and ACT. You know what it is. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for another Big Brother Canada 9 live feeds update. This will be my 17th rant entitled Beth Before Dishonor, Coach. Because what I'm witnessing, ladies and gentlemen, is it's easy to say that these brothers should want Victoria to be sent to the Shadow Realm based off how she did their girl Toya. Correct. But unfortunately, what I don't like and what a lot of sisters don't like about this week is how Beth is able to selectively act as if all of a sudden she cares about doing something to show respect to Toya when it's convenient for her. Keep in mind, Beth was along with the move to take out Toya. She did not see many negatives from the addition by subtraction of getting rid of Toya. In fact, Beth admitted after Toya left, it was good Toya was gone because she got closer to the men. All these women admitted it was good Toya was gone because they all had more opportunities to get close to these men. Correct? So for Beth to make it seem like these men should be on board with backdooring Vic to pay homage, to do it for Toya, when this same white woman got rid of Toya, almost nuked the Sunsetters Alliance before it got off the ground simply because she wanted to have a little bit more control within it, I find it to be so insincere for her to be the one to approach these brothers, making it seem like she's trying to get a battle cry going for Toya. You never gave no crap about Toya. Now, granted, this is good gameplay. She is relying on these brothers' heartstrings. She's relying on the innocence of these brothers' emotions. And she knows that these brothers felt a certain type of way about how Toya was done, but for their own gameplay, they couldn't say it out loud. So now she's trying to make it seem as if she's giving them that opportunity to finally get revenge. But in reality, in Beth's mind, this is just like the Toya move. Let me get rid of another black woman that ain't doing me no help in this game, even if this black woman is helping my allies. Pay attention there. So the ally of your ally is somehow always your enemy, Beth? Now, while I will admit that I've already said this in a previous rant, Beth targeting Victoria is fantastic gameplay on her part because Victoria would go after her. And I'm not going to leave no stone unturned here. Make no mistake about it. This falls on Victoria because after Toya got evicted, Victoria came up with a plan to place the blame of why Toya was sent home all on Beth because Beth was the one painting a target on Toya to the other side of the house. She tried to cause friction between Beth, Ty, and Jed. That's what Victoria attempted to do earlier this season. So understand, Victoria overplaying, playing messy, and doing a little bit too much for TV is why she's being targeted by Beth with this backdoor here. I want that to be known. But just because her mistakes are leading to this Does not mean Ty and Jed, once again, didn't make several mistakes that led to this as well. After what Kiefer did, and after what Vic did, in my opinion, production did not appreciate Vic protecting those black men. That's my theory on it. Other people have other theories. I'll leave that to them. I know conspiracy theorists right now who believe that there is an agenda right now to take Vic out simply because she chose to get out Austin, production's apex pet, over getting out someone like a Ty or Jed that they all would have appreciated. Now, there are some conspiracy theories that believe, well, if Victoria would have still gotten the HOH, not targeted Ty and Jed, but allowed Austin to stay, then I think production would have given her some leeway this week. Me, I don't think it's that difficult. I think all of these things are connected, and I think it's as simple as you didn't use this twist to do the stuff you did towards Toya, so now we're taking away some of your production pet privileges. Now it's going to be a lot easier for us to create a scenario for you to get screwed over. And when you look at the veto selections, when you notice that the two nominees of Rohan and Tera are, of course, competing, but then when you notice how Tina and Breydon get picked for this veto along with Ty, Tina is Tera's number one ally. Breydon, by proxy, is Rohan's number one ally. Breydon and Rohan right now are trying their best to get Ty and Jed to believe that they're down with the get down, just so when they have the first opportunity they have, they can snake these brothers out. Now, these brothers believe Breydon is telling the truth. They believe he's sincere to a degree. They don't trust it all the way. They're still asking Beth to compare notes and see if it's for certain. But understand, to a certain degree, Beth is so thirsty for Breydon to stay in this game, for her to have an out in case the Ty and Jed path doesn't work out for her. And this is why I'll criticize Beth more. You ruin the games of two black women to have these two black men to yourselves just to create another lane to pivot down and abandon these black men when the time dictates it? So basically, you're just playing an inherently anti-black game. You just happen to like some black dick. Exposed. This is the facts of it all. Because when Toya wasn't hollering at these men, you hated her even though she was in your alliance. When Vic was hollering at these men, working with them and protecting them with an invisible HOH that even you was nervous about, Beth, you still wanted revenge for Austin, even though it was either you, Ty, and Jed, or Austin and Breydon. So in reality, Victoria made a difficult decision which benefited your win conditions, Beth, and you repay her by sending her to the Shadow Realm and hurting Ty and Jed's win conditions? So that tells us all you don't even really care about Ty and Jed at all. It tells us all a week ago when you were buying the bullshit that Ty and Jed didn't care about you, it shows us that you still actually believe that. Because everything you're doing this week is helping the games of Rohan and Breydon. Now Rohan and Breydon are trying to pitch a final 3 deal with Beth. So now Beth is like, oh, no matter what, I have 2 men on both sides who will take me to the end. I'm good after this week. So make no mistake about it, Beth feels like she's sitting pretty. But here's the thing, Beth, no, you're not. Because your idea of Final 5 scenario is Jed and Ty over here, Breydon and Rohan over there, those two target those two, and you just coast to Final 3. I get it. That's your tactic. Here's the problem, though, Beth. Breydon and Rohan, they plan for Tina and Tera to be in that Final 5, not Jed or Ty. Now, I'm sure in Beth's mind, she wouldn't mind that because she thinks she could take Tina and Tera, but you just threw up Tera. So Tina and Tera have less incentive to let you crack Final 4 over Breydon or Rohan. Now, they have a problem with Breydon as well that stems from last week when they wanted to keep Austin over him. But understand, they look at Beth as a highly toxic player, as a player that they don't want to win this season. So in my opinion, if Breydon, Rohan, Tina, and Tera make Final 5, those are 4 members that were all part of this oddball 7. They're going to cut you, Beth. You're going to look dumb as shit in the Final 5 when those 4 all gang up on you. You're going to look dumb. But you're going to feel like you succeeded because you outlasted the other black people. That's going to be your mantra. You're dumb as shit. You're absolutely dumb as shit. But I want it to be known here. I saw this coming. I said it was going to be Rohan or Vic. I don't want you all to think that I didn't see this coming. And this is why I'm trying not to be overtly angry about the situation. And even though Vic, from a strategic karma standpoint and from a coon karma standpoint, she deserves to be backdoored at some point. And I told you all she had no chance to win the game based off how she played it. But with that said, she earned her spot to play a little bit longer compared to a lot of these other players. A lot of these cowardice players. Now, I know this game isn't about who deserves what, who deserves this, who deserves that. As a black fan of the game, we've seen black people get screwed over for a lot less than Victoria is being screwed over for now. But I got to talk about Brother Ty now. Because, Ty, I really don't understand what you're doing, brother. And a lot of people online are starting to see that your game is starting to cave in. See, ladies and gentlemen, Victoria's staying helped Ty's game more than anyone else. Understand, Victoria, she was flirting with Ty and making it seem as if the Final Four deal would essentially be Ty and Vic on one side, Jed and Beth on the other. Let's duke it out as two couples. That's why I told you all that it was giving me Erica and Janelle vibes, okay? From the last rant, till Beth do his part. I brought up that point, right? I think Beth and Jed are terrified of Vic and Ty working together towards the end of the game, number one. Number two, I think Beth is just aware of the fact that Vic is throwing her name under the bus too many times to let that shit ride. Number three, though, to get back into Ty's psychological state here. Last night, I'm watching feeds. He's already aware of the fact that she's getting backdoored, but he's starting to talk himself into why it's a good move, why it's okay. Now, in this situation, me personally speaking, I would offer Tera before I would sacrifice a Vic right now, just based off how the numbers look. Ladies and gentlemen, the numbers shake out like this. Bray, Rohan, Tina, and Tera, they're a 4 right now. They've thrown Vic to the wolves, so Vic is by herself, basically with Kiefer over here. So you got these 4 over here. You got Beth, Ty, and Jed over here. And then you got these 2 of Kiefer and Vic over there. So do the numbers. That's 9 players right there. Now, if you're the 3, and there's another obvious 4, why wouldn't you protect the 2 in Kiefer and Vic who are alone that have just protected you 3? Why wouldn't you protect those 2 and keep targeting that 4 that is still together? 1 week removed, 2 weeks removed from that exact same 4. Remember, Tina and Tera were fighting hard to keep Kyle. Tina and Tera were fighting hard to keep Austin over Breydon. There clearly was an alliance there. Rohan clearly was part of it. And we've even seen people on feeds now, Kiefer mainly, expose the fact that Rohan goes on little smoking rendezvous with Tina and Tera. They got smoking clothes that they wear where they just smoke cigarettes together. This is another thing Kyle used to do with them. And that's why people crack the joke that his breath smells better when he smokes cigarettes. But my point is, ladies and gentlemen, these people are a lot closer, and it's quite obvious that they're super close. Now, for Beth's game, I get it. You'd rather let that 4 stick around, because to you, you can work with half of that 4 in Bray and Rowe. That's what she believes. I can work with half of that 4. I don't believe I could ever work with Vic. Even though I like Kiefer, I'm willing to piss off Kiefer. And see, this is another thing Beth and Jed specifically don't realize. When you get rid of Vic, right, you start a snowball effect of allowing the other side to go back to the same gameplay that you just escaped right after Toya left. Do you not forget how many weeks of great gameplay, of strong, loyal gameplay it took to make this oddball side look like flops? Now you're letting these motherfuckers look official again because you're giving them another chance. You're giving him you literally have, this is like the Bruce Lee Dragon movie. Remember he whooped the dude's ass in China and he said, "Do you give up? Do you give up?" And the dude said, "I give up. I give up." Bruce Lee like, "I bet, I won." He walks away. Instead of finishing the dude off when he could have, he walks away. The dude gets up, drop kicks him in his back injury, spinal injury. "I injured my back, spinal." Before you know it, it's a back injury, coach, and Bruce Lee is sidelined for some years. Now, I don't know if that story was completely true in the movie, but the analogy still hits the same way. When you have this team on life support and you about to stump them out, I get you got to keep Breydon safe this week. But damn, if everyone's talking about splitting up duos and Vic is by herself, how is Vic more of a threat than a duo? What are we doing here? You're going to allow a duo to stay unscathed and have twice the amount of chance of making the same move during the double. You're willing to risk that. Then you're willing to risk Ty and Jed can talk Vic into keeping you safe? That shows me Beth does not trust Ty and Jed's mouthpiece anymore. That tells me Beth no longer believes Ty and Jed are good enough to help her reach the end because she's already begun to evacuate the premises. So how bad does Jed look to go up to Ty this morning and be like, hey man, I finally sealed the deal with Beth? It's almost as if Jed feels like because he got some box, everything is okay. Jed, you might... See, this is why I got to ask these brothers questions. Jed, you didn't connect the dots that maybe Beth chose to give you the box on this specific night because she knew she was going to make a move that would ruin you and Ty's game? She wanted to distract you, my brother? See, that's the thing. This is why I always say brothers got to stay focused out here, man. They always got to stay focused out here because at any moment you can and you will be distracted, coach. Y'all got to be smarter than this, man. Like, this is embarrassing to me, man. How many times I got to tell y'all, dog? Like, I say this to people all the time, but it's like I got to keep bringing it up because they not smart, man. They keep playing with their little head over their big one.
Consciousness over coochie. Politics over punani. I keep telling y'all that. Consciousness comes before coochie.
Big facts. Like, bro, did y'all forget what y'all were here for? And I get it. In these brothers' minds, they probably think in the double, we gonna be targeted anyway. We can afford to sacrifice Vic. Would she really be a shield for us? Or would they all just go back to working with her to target us? That's all we've been hearing. You know? And also, I got to give Rohan a bit of a credit because if I'm going to take away from him for the lackluster lack of moves he made a week ago regarding that veto, I got to give him credit for betting on himself here because the whole play with not using the veto on Austin was him betting on himself that he could convince Jed, Ty, and Beth to do some dumb shit. Now, because he won this veto again, he technically has bet on himself and he has won because now that he is safe this week, they got to pivot to another target. Since he has told them for the longest he's willing to work with them and offer a couple of weeks of safety, that's too good of a deal to not take. Of course, Ty and Jed didn't believe the deal was real until they had no choice but to take it because he won the veto. So here we are. But Rohan has spread some information to Ty and Jed to make them begin to even question Kiefer. And I think this is why they're more open to cutting Vic. Understand, Kiefer was the conduit making all the things that Vic did seem a little bit more easier to understand. Because for these dudes, she screwed over Toya. She's going to screw over us. Kiefer was the Vic whisperer. He was the spicy whisperer, right? He was the one telling them, hey guys, trust me, she's got your back. Woo out the bam. Right? He was the one calming them down, making them realize you can still work with her moving forward. Now, for Kiefer's game, it's clear he kept Vic around because she's as alone as he is. The minute Vic's gone, now Kiefer's easier to throw up. And that's why Kiefer doesn't want her to go. That's why Kiefer is clearly feeling something's off here in the atmosphere. And I really feel bad for Kiefer because these brothers are leaving him in the damn dark. They're not telling him enough information. And honestly, they're giving Kiefer enough of an excuse if he wins the double HOH to turn on them. Because at this point, it's either he turns on you finally like the move he could have did, which would have been the easy move earlier in the game, or he doesn't turn on y'all and he targets someone else and then he just gets targeted like Vic would have been targeted before y'all, right? No matter how you shake it, ladies and gentlemen, Ty and Jed, Vic is the only shield you can argue they've ever had in this game besides Toya. And it's ironic that only a black woman can be a shield for these brothers. Not even Bray can be a shield for these brothers. Which goes back to what I told you all about how an effeminate man has certain advantages in games like this just based off sexuality. Not based off how he plays, not based off his personality, not based off his actual acumen for the game. It's solely based off of how the first impression. Oh, you're not into vagina? Oh, I don't think you'll win as many comps then. It's literally that simple. And because of that, Bray is able to be a snake, and people applaud him for it. Ty and Jed haven't done anything snake-worthy yet. Beth has been the only snake, but Ty and Jed, this gonna look bad on y'all anyway. That's the thing. Jury starts, the double eviction happens. If either one of y'all two brothers end up on the jury next to Vic in that damn sequester, she is gonna shit on y'all. And honestly, to a certain extent, y'all gotta hold y'all own nuts in that sequester house next to her. Because she will have every right to shit on y'all. Because I personally believe she burnt the bridge with production by not turning on one of y'all. She did everything in her power to make sure y'all would be in the damn jury house, believing she couldn't win without y'all votes. And y'all motherfuckers wouldn't even stand tall a week later to make sure she wouldn't even be the first jury member. I mean, listen, no matter how you look at this shit, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. And it really drives me up a wall to hear Beth act like she gave two shits about Toya. She never cared about that girl, man. But she's acting like she did to manipulate these brothers into thinking turning on another black woman is the right game move. Knowing damn well all that does is once again take your percentage chance of winning the game. It takes that down another 20% because it's only 5 of y'all in the fucking game. Man. But yeah, so Rohan deserves credit, man. I mean, he got Ty and Jed to see, and he told the truth here. He got them to see that Keith has been playing both sides. He's been telling Ro he wants Ro around to target Ty and Jed. He's been telling Ty and Jed, hey, I want y'all to take out Ro. You know, now that's standard gameplay, but once again, Ty and Jed believe that he absolutely hated Ro. So for them to hear information that he's cool enough with Ro to tell him, hey, we have the same enemy, that's something to make Ty and Jed reevaluate Kiefer. And if they're reevaluating Kiefer, and they already were a little bit wary of Vic, that's all they needed to know. That was the tip of the iceberg to force the Titanic of the Sunsetters Alliance to begin to sink here. And that's what the saddest part about this is, ladies and gentlemen. I believe the Sunsetters are on the verge here of extinction just with this one move. I think they're on the verge of extinction. Because Rohan, he has Kevin Rob Martin upside. Breydon, I don't believe he has Gary Glitter upside, but once again, this dude is big as hell, and I think there's going to eventually be a comp that he's going to excel at. And if you start to take out Ty and a Jed, eventually Bray's skill set, his size, will start to play more of a larger role in why he starts winning more because they aren't around. And then before you know it, there could be a Bray and Ro complete steamroll towards the end of this game simply because Beth wanted to give Bray a free week, but she couldn't give the black woman one. Even though Bray tried to ruin Beth's game by running to Vic and telling her that Beth tried to cause a last-minute flip to take out Rohan. And here we are with Beth choosing Rohan and Bray over Vic when Breydon almost ruined Beth's game, which led to Vic trying to ruin Beth's game after Toya left. So do you see this, ladies and gentlemen? Do you see how Beth is prioritizing allies who have thrown her under the bus before, who have more game reasoning to hate Beth? Okay? Now, Vic's reason to hate Beth, I think, is more so personal and petty. But once again, that's why Beth is choosing to play more personal and petty and not think more with her head. She's thinking more so, she's thinking more so from an emotional standpoint here. But that's my point, though, ladies and gentlemen. The history, the historical context of why Vic and Beth are beefing. No matter how you shake it, Breydon was an arbiter. He was an instigator in this being a beef itself. So Bray does deserve some credit here as well. Because he's been planting the seeds for weeks. He made Vic hate Beth. He played a role in Beth hating Vic more as well. And now he gets to reap all the benefits of seeing Vic leave the game. He gets no blood on his hands from Vic's departure. He gets to pick up Beth as a number with Rohan. And here's the thing, Beth. You just being open to working with those two men means you're open to abandoning the black men. So Beth is even prepping right now for sabotaging these two brothers' games. She'll take some pipe from them, but she ain't really about that life from or with them. That's just what it is. She'll take some pipe from them, but she ain't about that life with them. And that's just what it really is, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why we couldn't stand Beth from the start of this damn game. This is why we all could see that Jed and Ty's best late game win conditions involve Toya. And this is where I gotta hold Victoria accountable. You chose to make the move of getting out Toya to take her Infinity Stone and Power Vacuum. But in doing that, you put a whole bunch of heat on your name. When in reality, if you were just going to protect Ty and Jed moving forward into the game, what you could have did was, your first HOH, Vic, you could have just took out Austin then. Then, Toya's still in the game. Based off of game action, Toya knows she can trust you because you chose to take out one of your own over her. I'm talking about Destiny, Team Destiny. Now, Toya, Ty, and Jed probably bring you in. They probably replace Beth with you based off of the actual action you put in because Toya didn't want Beth in the alliance anyway. And there probably is every black player still in the game, in the jury, and we probably have the best possible season of black excellence known to humanity. But Victoria, you decided to be the one to cut one black person down because you wanted their spot and you wanted to be them. Well, now you got to live with the heat of being as hated as Toya was week 2. Toya was absolutely hated. You know that because you hated her too. Well, now that you're being hated by the same white folks that hated her, how does that feel? Because you went for her thinking you could get the affection of these white folks. And the same way I'll criticize these white fans, I'll criticize these white players. All of them are fake as hell. Because the minute, and I say this all the time, the minute you decide to target a black person is the minute everyone says, oh, I'm down with that move. There's no fight back, huh? You don't see nobody right now fighting for Vic the way Tera was crying over Kyle, you know? And Vic actually played wonderful. Kyle didn't do shit. Ain't no tears for Vic, though. You know, but I gotta admit, when I'm watching feeds, I'm even feeling a little bad for her. Now, I don't know if it's Easter weekend doing it to me. I don't know if it was my mom's birthday recently doing it to me, or if it's just me not like seeing sisters put through trauma, black people in general put through trauma. Because I know the trauma Vic is being put through now is going to lead to Ty and Jed being put through worse trauma later. But let's just keep it real. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, this is compound trauma. Because Ty and Jed were already put through this with Toya. Now, Beth wants them to believe this is positive trauma by getting revenge on Vic. But in reality, Beth don't understand for a black man, that is more trauma because you're seeing another black woman go through hurt that doesn't have to go through that type of hurt. Right? So that's going to eat away at these black men. That's going to put some guilt on these brothers and sisters. Well, not no more sisters because all the black women gone, but at the end of the day, that's going to put some more guilt on these black men. Not so much Breydon. In fact, I think production might hire Breydon to be the new coon on demand. Pay close attention to that, coach. They might start propping Breydon up like he was the prince who was promised, not if Vic's gone. I'm telling y'all what it is, and this is why I didn't want Vic cooning to begin with, right? Because I had a feeling production might throw her away if she ever get her shit on straight. But that's why I gave her credit in the moment for having her shit on straight. Because I knew that took some actual ovaries. I knew that took some actual courage. I know she actually stood up to some people out there in production. See, we don't get to see that shit. And that's why I go out of my way to defend it. And that's why I go out of my way to put an emphasis and a spotlight on these type of things, y'all. Because at the end of the day, what Kiefer did and what Vic did should be applauded. Because they got production so damn in their feelings to the point where they basically just said, hey, the one girl leading to us having any ratings, the one girl that's a little bit entertaining because the rest of our cast ain't really doing it, that's the girl we want to sacrifice because she wouldn't be a coon anymore. She rehabilitated herself, huh? But we don't like rehabilitated black folks. Those aren't the types we want to cast on this show. We want y'all unstable, unsavory. That's what production is selling us. You know? Because they're giving Beth tons of credit right now for her unsavory orgy with Ty and Jed right now. In fact, they gave her credit as if she's the one determining which cock she gets to have. Meanwhile, a few Thursdays ago, they did this huge montage of Victoria getting drunk, just doing a whole bunch of stuff with her legs up in the air, spreading her legs. They want the black woman to look like the slut. But then they give Beth the classy hoe edit. Let's talk about it. All these things are subtle. And all these things perpetuate a certain narrative. And this is why I went out of my way to tell y'all Beth was being trained for Apex production pet status. I just believed that Austin was ranked higher than her in the production hierarchy. But now that Austin was taken out by Vic, it's almost as if production have empowered Beth to get revenge by proxy for them. I really do back-to-back day rants. So understand, ladies and gentlemen, me doing this right now, that means I got a lot of stuff on my mind right now. I just feel like I got to give it to the ethos. I got to give it to the world. I got to give it to the realm. And I think a lot of people are going to agree with this rant 100% because, once again, this is why I'm the best at this. Because at any moment, I'm going to just have a lot of thoughts, and if I just put it on wax, it's going to be a classic. And I know it every time. But that's why I don't always, it's like this. Sasuke don't want to use his Sharingan in every fight. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like Pain don't always use his Rinnegan. You know what I'm saying? But it feel like in moments like this, I gotta showcase my Byakugan. I got to. Right now I'm seeing all the chakra points in production, and I'm just hitting them. I see what's going on, man. I see what's going on. Y'all are disciplining this woman because she didn't target Ty and Jed a week ago. We see what it is. And it's compounded by the fact that she chose to go after your apex pet. We know what it is, yo. We know what it is. We know what it is. You know, y'all was trying to buck break everybody, and then when they buck the system, you try to punish them. Exposed. We talking about it right now. You know, and you can clearly tell Victoria does not see this blind side coming. She doesn't see the back door coming, or at least she's not stressing she sees it coming. It's going to be very important for us to watch her confessional all week to see if she sees this coming. Now, Kiefer has implied that Rohan may have cheated in the POV comp. So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If the POV was already stacked against Victoria and Ty, because Ty clearly needed Victoria to stay more than Jed did, because Jed is too fixated with the Snow Bunny box. Let's just keep it real. I know it's Easter weekend, but damn, Jed, leave the bunnies alone, coach. But at the end of the day, let's just keep it real. Kiefer is already exposed, and Feeds got cut shortly after this. He exposed the fact that everyone else had to use a spatula during this barbecue Big Brother POV comp. And allegedly, everyone had to use a spatula to throw something on a grill, right? And the whatever you throw on the grill would bounce off the grill. Allegedly, Rohan was the only one allowed to use his hands to keep whatever thing that was bouncing off the grill. He was able to use his hands to keep it on. Kiefer noticed it. He points it out. Production chooses to cut Feeds for a minute. And it's like, so you mean to tell me the veto selections were all against Vic? Then the guy who wins it, when it's all heavily rumored or heavily implied that Tina, Tera, Breydon, all threw the damn shit to Rohan. I mean, none of them had any incentive not to throw it to him. Bray knows he's not going to get backdoored by Beth. He knows what the plan is. Tina, at the end of the day, even if she wants Tera off the block, she knows Tera is safe no matter who replaces Rohan. She has no reason to win the veto either. So understand, everybody picked was just picked to throw it to Rohan and to make sure no one else could disturb the plan. So understand, production somehow guarantees that outcome. Then Rohan suspiciously wins another veto. It seems as if he destroyed everyone in it, and it also seems like he may have also cheated. And I'm supposed to believe this isn't just some giant conspiracy against Victoria. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe this could be the perfect storm of them trying to discipline this woman for not being who they casted her to be the entire time. I think Victoria got rid of Toya. I think they revealed Toya was a cop. I think Victoria regretted it immensely. I think she realized how she was being portrayed outside the house. I think she tried to rehabilitate herself. I think she tried to change her approach because she realized I don't got to keep doing this. And I think she also realized if she has any chance of winning, she needed Ty and Jed to both make jury. By her seeing the light and trying to correct some of her mistakes, I think Big Brother put plans in motion to make sure she would never have a chance to make it any further. I think this was all a humbling experience from them. I think they wanted to discipline this woman. And it's sad because she does not even see this back door coming. Ty was with her last night, had his hand behind her head. They accidentally kissed each other on the lips already on feeds. Okay. Now that was purely accidental and innocent. But at the end of the day, look, I'm not saying that I am in any way, shape, or form pushing for some Vic and Ty relationship, Vic and Ty showmans. I was just smart enough to understand that for Ty's game, Vic was his shield and his only shield. There won't be another shield for Ty moving forward. He had Toya, she's gone. He had Vic, she's gone. Every time Ty has a black woman willing to be on code with him, there's always a majority of non-black people who did that shit in the water. Okay? So now, with Vic most likely leaving this game through back door, this double HOH, this double eviction, everything rides on Ty or Jed winning HOH. If neither one of them, because Beth can't double tap, if neither one of them win it, because they could have relied on Victoria winning it, and maybe Victoria helps them. Now, I'm aware of the fact that Victoria could have also turned on them as well. I personally believe, based off of some of the conversations Victoria has been having with Ty on feeds after the veto comp, I personally believe Victoria had every incentive in the world to go to the end of the game with these brothers. I really do believe it based off the conversation she was having. There are certain things, certain truths that she was sharing with Ty on that bed she did not have to share with that brother at that specific time. That told me what I needed to know. That told me that she was trying to tell him, hey man, don't sell me out. I got your back. I'm willing to go to Rohan, tell him what he wants to hear, and run information back. We got a backdoor Rohan. Woo out the bam. Okay? So Victoria's eyes are set on Ro, just like Kiefer's eyes are set on Ro, just like Ty and Jed's eyes are set on Ro. In reality, Victoria is more in line with Ty and Jed's win conditions than Beth is at this point. That's the saddest part about it, y'all. Victoria was on code and in more line with what Jed wanted than the girl whose box he's bashing in every night. But Jed can't see the forest from the trees. Jed is just happy that he got Ty sloppy seconds. Jed probably believes he conquered Ty by getting the woman that Ty can't have anymore. It probably is that simple to Jed. Who knows? Jed also seems the one that's buying the bullshit Rohan is selling the most because he keeps bringing Ty into conversations with Rohan, so he has to listen to Rohan's bullshit. That tells me Jed is probably going to be the one who says who flipped at a certain point. He's going to get faceled, in my opinion, because he went from throwing the HOH to Beth, looking like a mastermind on his throne, to buying a little bit too much of this nonsensical pandering coming from the other side this week. You know, and while I did give Ty credit for recentering Jed, he always has to recalibrate Jed because Jed is always having these fucking manufacturing troubleshooting issues in his fucking mainframe. You know what I'm saying? Where you gotta hot wire it or you gotta modify it or you gotta do something because he always tweaks out. You gotta kid up Geek Squad sometimes to fix Jed because he just be tweaking. It's the truth. So Ty can't really rely on Jed anymore because Jed is fixated with the box. Vic is finna leave. That's one person he could have relied on who was actually starting to get more closer to him than she was getting to Jed or Beth. Let's keep it real. And the majority of the reason why Victoria is, I believe that in the veto speech when she gets backdoored, I believe the reason why Beth is going to blame this backdoor from a game reasoning is going to be because Breydon, Rohan, Tina, and Tera, how convenient, those four, did not talk about them earlier, they have confirmed a conversation that they had with Vic, where Vic, during her invisible HOH week, I believe, she implied that if she won HOH again, she would go after Jed and Beth. And she also implied she would only keep someone who said they would go after Jed and Beth, or Jed and Ty. That's why Bray said he would go after Jed and Ty. And it's funny, Bray can say out loud that he admitted that he would target Jed and Ty. Beth looks at that as, that's okay because you didn't say me and Jed. Beth is that damn lunatic. She's a lunatic that way. That's why I believe Beth may want Ty gone because he didn't choose her. I personally believe Beth, it's so easy to just make it seem like Vic is the only one jealous of a girl that's into a guy that she wants to be around. What if Beth is that same way towards Vic now? What if Beth sees Vic and Ty together? And what if she's getting jealous because that's the guy she couldn't keep? What if she gets jealous that somehow Vic is infiltrating a space that Ty told Beth he didn't want anyone infiltrating because he had a girl back at home he wanted to marry? What if Beth remembers that conversation with Ty, and what if she wants Vic going ASAP because she don't think that's adding up right? Now, while I am implying that Beth ain't shit because she's the same as Vic, I'm also implying that Ty may have made some mistakes socially here. See, I hold everyone accountable. This isn't just me being emotional. But it's important with these rants. These rants are like time capsules. Years from now, people going to go back and wonder what was going on behind the scenes. They're going to come to these rants and figure out the real tea here. Because I think for the people who didn't watch feeds during a season like this, they're just watching episodes, it's not going to make any sense to them. Wait a minute, hold on. Kiefer saved the black guys. Wait, Vic saved the black guy? What is going on? Beth targeted Vic after she saved her man? Huh? And see, that's the thing. It's not going to make sense. And that's why these rants are going to need to exist. Real talk. And that's why they currently do exist. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it really looks like that, man. If Kiefer, Ty, or Jed do not win the double eviction HOH, two of those three are on the block. It's that simple. With no Vic, Kiefer now becomes the permanent pawn all over again. He does. Unfortunately, he does. For everyone's game on the other side, it makes absolutely no sense to throw up Kiefer and Ty or Kiefer and Jed because then the other black guy could win the veto, take off the other one. Now both are safe, and now Kiefer's on the block next to someone on the other side. Well, actually, Kiefer will be on the block next to Beth, right? Now, in that situation, I personally believe Ty and Jed should keep Kiefer over Beth 9 times out of 10. Unfortunately, Jed would never keep Kiefer over Beth because Jed, I believe, is more salty about Kiefer's gameplay than I believe Ty actually is. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Kiefer and Beth have never really been that close anyway. Also, keep in mind, Kiefer was the one telling Ty that Beth was hurting the games of Jed and Ty. So, the seeds were being planted by Kiefer to play both sides within even his Sunsetters alliance, so it makes it more believable that he would do that with Ro towards Ty and Jed as well. I'm saying this to once again give a 360-degree view here. So make no mistake about it, this backdoor by Beth screws over Kiefer, who's part of her Sunsetters alliance, Ty, who's part of her Sunsetters alliance. It gives Tina and Tera, Breydon and Rohan huge pivoting prowess, and it almost guarantees 3 out of that foursome will make the final 5 at this point. That's the saddest part. I don't see anyone using this double eviction HOH to take out Tina or Tera. So both of them, you can go ahead and pencil them in for final 7. Isn't that whack? How you could just pencil 2 people in for final 7 just because they've done nothing and no one looks at them as doing anything? Okay, well, those 2 white women, keep pushing them further as y'all white women target these black women just for playing the game. But once again, here we are. So there's going to be no more black women left in the game. It's only going to be 3 women left. They're all going to be white. And then there's going to be 5 men. What do you think these 3 white women are hoping? That these 5 men all target each other. So you're going to have Ty and Jed on one side. Ty, Jed, and Kiefer. And then you got Breydon and Ro. Okay? At the end of the day, if Ty, Jed, or Kiefer do not win the double eviction HOH, I personally believe it's a pagong going to happen. I believe you're going to see Kiefer, Ty, and Jed all eliminated back to back to back to back, which will do what, ladies and gentlemen? It will ensure that the final 5 is exactly the way Breydon and Ro wanted, with Tina, Tera, and Beth. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how the game is shaking out, unfortunately. I tried my best to give you all a freestyle rant that you didn't expect, but that spoke nothing but the truth, but got out my true feelings on this game as a whole, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm finna go to the gym. I'm finna go work out. I'm finna enjoy this beautiful weather on this wonderful Sunday. I hope you all do the same, ladies and gentlemen. I know there's a lot of sisters hurting for Vic right now just because they are used to seeing a black woman just get dogged. I know you would like to see more fight out of these brothers to protect her, but unfortunately, Jed at this point, he's been muzzled. And Ty at this point, he feels a little defeated. I got to be honest with you. Everything rides on the double eviction HOH at this point. And honestly, based around the fact that Jed and Ty have somehow managed to blow a 3-1 lead heading into Game 7, shoutouts to King619 who came up with that line on the Patreon, I don't really have faith that either one of these brothers are going to win the double eviction HOH, especially when it's heavily implied Ty did terribly in the veto comp. It's implied Tina did better than him in the veto. So not only does Ty, either he's this huge mastermind who's throwing shit way too much, or he's just not built for any of these carnival games. And if you're not built for any of them, and if it doesn't seem to be anything physical in down the pike in the foreseeable future, now usually double evictions have physical comps. Usually there's something that involves sprinting back and forth. Hopefully that benefits Jed and Ty in the veto stage at least, because usually the HOH comp and the veto comp are usually really simple comps. Either it's an A or B or a true or false, then the veto comp it's something that involves running back and forth. Hopefully they flip that to where running back and forth is the HOH because we ain't had enough physical HOHs. Hopefully the veto becomes an A or B, true or false, because most HOHs have been like that. Hopefully that could benefit Ty and Jed. But if I'm being completely honest with you, my hopes are not high. My hopes are not high. And this all goes back to why I initially told y'all about how Ty and Jed dropped the ball by not getting rid of Rohan. That was the pivotal week, which led to Toya leaving the next week, which led to Kyle bucking up and having to leave during Kiefer's week, which led to Victoria protecting Ty and Jed and taking out Austin before jury, which led to production turning on Victoria, in my opinion, and sending her to the Shadow Realm by the hand of Beth, the woman they wanted to play Victoria's game all along. Let's keep it funky. All right? So, no matter how you shake it, cause and effect, but production always gets their way because they're live and direct. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this rant live and direct. I'm, of course, your humble host, Dave Smith, with Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. This was my 17th rant of Big Brother Canada 9, entitled Beth Before Dishonor. Do you agree with my takes? Do you believe that the way Victoria is being done this week, even if she may deserve it based off how she took out Toya, are you still feeling a certain type of way just because this seems to always happen to black players? I feel a certain type of way, even though I may have wished for this outcome for Victoria the minute she guaranteed Toya was sent to the Shadow Realm. It still doesn't change the fact that the trauma is all the same. And because of the PTSD that is within this house, ladies and gentlemen, nobody wants to play a head-up, non-cowardice game with Victoria and wants to deal with her for several days, which is why I believe feeds are going to be very interesting from either today when the ceremony happens or tomorrow when the ceremony happens up until Thursday. Because either Victoria is going to curl up into a ball or we're going to see one of the greatest performances ever to talk her way out of staying over Tera in Big Brother history. Because in my opinion, there's no chance Victoria stays. But if she somehow pulls this out with a 0.1% chance of staying, I'm ranking it that low of a chance here, then she has every right to start calling herself the greatest player ever. That's my take on it. And I think this was a classic rant, so I'm going to leave y'all here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please do not forget to like, comment underneath the video for the algorithm, share it with all of the fans of Big Brother Canada 9 that you rock with, and of course subscribe to the channel so we can generate more discussion in the future. I'm Dave Smith with Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. Until next time.